Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Ako po si Noel Reyes, ang spokesperson ng Department of Agriculture at Assistant Secretary for Strategic Communications. Welcome po sa ating virtual presser. Ito po ay hatid sa inyo ng Department of Agriculture, our Department of Trade and Industry. We have with us our guest, of course, our friend, DTI Secretary Ramon Lopez, sir.
Good afternoon po. Good afternoon, Sec. Willie, Sec. Noel, at mga kasama niyo po sa DA. Andito rin si Yusek Root from the DTI side. At good afternoon po sa mga fellow friends in media.
Okay. Welcome din po, Yusek Root, and the DA team is headed by, of course, Secretary William Dar with us, Undersecretary Ariel Cayanan, Undersecretary William Medrano, and Director Salvador Benamayes, and of course, Raildrin Morales of Bureau of Animal Industry. So, to start with, Secretary Mon, kindly
make the opening statement.
For an opening statement, sir, on this joint virtual presser of the DA and DTI. Secretary Mon.
Okay, thank you, Sec. Noel. Good afternoon again, everyone, kay Sec. Willie, sa ating mga kapartner sa DA. Kami po ay nandito basically in full support of the DA, especially po dito sa ating common interest na mapanatili ang isang mas establing galaw ng presyo, lalo na sa mga agriculture products. Kami po ay nanditong tumutulong at nag-a-assist po sa DA, being the lead agency for agriculture products. And later on, mapapag-usapan din po yung mga plano tungkol lalo na dito sa mga importation at kung tayo ay maglalagay ng price cap or suggested retail price sa importation. Kami rin po tutulong pagka meron na hong price cap dyan, tayo tutulong sa pagdating sa pag-monitor at assisting DA pagpataw din ng mga notice of violation at kaukulang mga penalties doon sa mga magbabiolate dito. So, yun lang po muna at maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Sec. Mon. At bago doon, i-recognize ko po yung mga media personalities natin nandito ngayon at nagpadala ng mga kanilang katanungan. Isa-isayin ko sila mamaya po. But before them, let's welcome Secretary William Dar for his opening statement. Sir?
Tama. Maraming salamat po, Sec. Mon Lopez ng DTI, DTI Yusek Ruth Costello, and the team of the Department of Agriculture here, Yusek Ariel Cayanan, Yusek Willie Medrano, Sec. Noel Reyes, Director Raildrin Morales, and Director Jocelyn Salvador. Babasahin ko po itong mga pinag-usapan kanina. Of course, it was almost part of the journey towards the decision that we made. Ito po yung mga agreements po natin in consultation with the leadership of the Department of Trade and Industry, including that of our series of consultations with the various stakeholders of the livestock and poultry industry. We are zeroing in our focus today in regard to the livestock and poultry industry. The country's headline inflation rate fell to 4.5% in March 2021 from 4.7% in the previous month, according to the Philippine Statistics Authority. As reported by NEDA, the continued supply deficiency in meat, particularly pork, has remained the leading driver of inflation at 20.9% from 20.7% in February. Measures to boost the supply of key agricultural commodities, including temporary reduction of tariff and quota controls, can help stabilize food prices and inflation. The Department of Agriculture and the Department of Trade and Industry, along with other stakeholders, are committed to stabilize food prices by augmenting food supply and ensuring that the supply chains of goods, especially food, will be unhampered during the enhanced community quarantine period in the NCR plus bubble. Among the measures that we will undertake to stabilize food prices, particularly pork, are the following. Number one, implementation of suggested retail price for imported pork. The price cap ends tomorrow. That's under EO 124. So April 8 will be the last day for the price cap, existing one. And there will be no extension. But we have decided, based on consultations again with various stakeholders, with DTI and others, that we will impose a suggested retail price for imported pork. Meanwhile, no suggested retail price will be implemented for local pork. Effective April 9, the following are the SRP for imported pork. Kasim, 270 pesos per kilogram. For liempo, 350 pesos per kilogram. The DA, together with the DTI, will implement the SRP for imported pork and have agreed on the following. Compliance to existing guidelines on hygienic handling of imported pork as prescribed by Administrative Order Number 6, Series of 2021. Proper packaging and labeling of imported pork, and creation of a compliance monitoring team to ensure that retailers and sellers abide by the SRP. To the extent that we will not only just between the two departments, DA and DTI, we will bring in also the help of the DILG, the police, and other stakeholders. In relation to the hygienic handling of imported pork, the DA, through the NMIS, the National Meat Inspection Service, will require importers to package their pork into, of course, those two categories, liempo or kasim, into saleable packages of 1 kilo or 500 grams, for that matter. Now, going further, the Department of Agriculture will continue to encourage hog raisers to supply and deliver surplus hogs from ASF-free provinces in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. The DA will also continue with the transport assistance to stabilize the supply of hogs to NCR, NCR plus bubble in general during this ECQ. This will be pursued until the MAB plus and the lowering of tariffs are approved. Currently, the tariffs on imported pork remain at 30%, that is in quota, and 40% out quota. Now, lastly, let me mention that aside from supermarkets and groceries, imported pork will be distributed also in wet markets in Metro Manila, particularly to retailers with freezers and or chillers. For those without freezers, the Department of Agriculture, through the local government units in Metro Manila, will provide them a grant of totaling 45 million pesos. We will be buying total 2,500 chest freezers costing 18,000 pesos per unit, with each freezer having a capacity of 150 kilos. So yun po ang mga bagong way forward. And with all these measures in place, let me again conclude by saying that the repopulation program for the hog industry continues to be our main priority, including that of the fight against African swine fever. We feel that we will succeed this time around. Marami pong salamat.
Maraming salamat po, Secretary William Dar. Again, Secretary Mon and Yusek Cruz, I would like to mention our media friends who sent in their questions, and they are online too right now. But for those who sent in their questions, I'd like to mention them. They are Eileen Mencias of Abante, John Enriquez of DCAS, Carl Ocampo of Philippine Daily Inquirer, E.J. Gomez of Manila Times, Isa Tan, Asian Agribusiness, Kat Talavera of Philippine Star, Mike Guyagoy of DCXL RMN, Jason Rubrico of SMNI Sunshine TV, Ray Pilayo of UNTV News, Melissa Lopez, CNN Philippines, Christine Cordiz of Philippine News Agency, Eric De La Cruz of Reuters, and Revin Uchabe of Business World. Unahin na po natin, Mr. Secretary, Secretary Mon, ang tanong ni Eileen Mencias of Abante. Ayon po sa datos ng PSA, hindi naman nasusunod ang price ceiling na itinakda sa baboy at manok dahil mahigit 300 ang presyo ng baboy at mahigit 170 ang manok sa Metro Manila. Kahit nung may SRP, hindi rin nasusunod po ito. Ano naging problema sa pagpapatupad ng SRP at ng price ceiling? At sabi niya po, ang tanong niya po, ano na ang ginamit na batayan ng DA sa pagtatakda ng price ceiling o ng SRP? Secretary?
Okay, ang aming basehan ng pagtatakda ng suggested retail price sa imported pork ay we considered yung presyo at saka yung mga iba't ibang mga dapat i-include kagaya ng cold store warehouses, yung transportation, and margins, of course, for those who are importing, and margins including that of those retailing the product.
Okay. Tanong naman po ni Carl, Sec Mon, baka may idudugtong po kayo. Okay, salamat po. Tanong naman po ni Carl Ocampo ng Inquirer, kung may na-penalize na po na seller over itong 60-day price cap period, sir.
We have a good number of those sent on notice of violations. That process continues. Maybe we will give the details next time around.
Secmon, for your part, sir. Nakamute po kayo, nakamute.
Alright. Hello, yeah. Kami naman po, dahil agriculture products, we do our share by joining DA sa ilang mga monitoring mission. At kung merong mga violation, all we can do also is endorse the same to the DA. Kasi hindi ho kami authorized mag-issue ng mga violations. So as reported by Secretary Dar, yun po yung mga under process ngayon.
Maraming salamat po. Tanong po ni John Enriquez, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Secretary Ramon, the price of pork will rise after control is lifted. What happens then? Ano po po mangyayari?
Well, the measures that we continue to advocate, it's a holistic set of measures. Yung dati, yung price cap will not solve the problem. Ang bottom line pa rin ay supply. So kung kulang ang supply, necessarily yung mga pagtaas ng presyo, kung hindi natin masolusyonan at mayroon naman tayong measures na minumungkahi, kagaya po itong mobilization ng hogs from provinces, that's just one of them. Yung MAB Plus is another. Yung lowering of tariff is another. So it's a holistic set of measures that really can bring down the prices and tame inflation.
Secretary Mon, for your part.
Yes, ever since ating pong position ay as recognized also by DA, yung supply is really the issue given the impact of ASF. Kaya ho lahat ng mga nabanggit ni SECDAR, pati yung inyong mga repopulation program, yung paglipat from surplus regions to the deficit regions, and of course allowing temporary importation para talaga maibsan yung supply, madagdagan ng supply. Yun po yung nakita talaga nating mabilis at yung tamang solusyon. Wala na hong iba, kaya ho talaga pagtutulungan ho natin ito para bumaba uli yung pressure dito sa presyo ng pork products.
Maraming salamat po. Kay EJ Gomez naman, sirs, ng Manila Times, leaders of the agriculture industry wrote to President Duterte this Tuesday, to shelve the proposals of the DA to increase the MAB Plus allocation of pork and reduce tariffs, saying these proposals are unnecessary both to consumers and the local hog industry. Where does the DA stand now? Is the agency still pushing such proposal? Sir?
The proposal to increase the MAB has all the justification, and that have been presented to the Cabinet. And last March 27, 2021, the President recommended the same to Congress.
Secretary Mon, for your part.
Same lang din. It's been discussed and approved na in the Cabinet, Asek Noel.
Thank you. From Isa Tan of Asian Agribusiness, she asked, while President Duterte's recommendation for the higher MAB has been forwarded to Congress, the body is currently in recess. What is the current status of this proposal, sir?
Well, if the process is observed, if there is no action from the houses of Congress, the next step is for the President to issue an executive order.
Okay. Secretary Mon?
Yeah, the same.
Okay, thank you. Kay Isa Tan pa rin po.
Siguro, Secmon, yung lowering of tariff, you can mention na nasa palasyo na rin.
Yes, yun ay kasama dun sa na-approve na panukala kasi earlier. So nasa Office of the President siya, being studied right now by the principals.
Thank you, Secmon. Tanong pa rin po ni Isa Tan ng Asian Agribiz. Industry leaders have repeatedly said they are open to increasing pork import, but they say the volume hike proposed by the CTRM and DA is too high. How did the DA come up with this volume? Was there consultation with the industry, sir?
Lahat po ng proseso ay inobserve, ginawa, consultation was done, and lahat yung stakeholders represented were there. So, ang mga ibang panukala, mas mataas pa dun sa inirekomenda po namin. Sabi po nila, 500,000 daw ang potential deficit itong taon na ito ng karne ng baboy. But we only projected almost 400,000 deficiency of pork. So yung existing MAB ay 54,000. So yung kakulangan doon sa 400,000, yun na po yung MAB plus.
Thank you. Ms. Secretary Mon, for your part.
Yes, of course, these are all under the purview of DA. I think also I remember Secdar mentioning naman dito sa mga in quota, I think yun naman pwedeng i-manage din ng DA in the implementation as they read, they have a better read also of the supply and demand situation moving forward. So hindi naman, sa intindi ko, hindi naman ito lahat darating bukas or sa isang bukas, kung hindi ito po ay it's a gradual implementation. And with that, I think ang importante ay hindi po tayo magkaroon ng shortage at ma-ease ang pressure ng mga presyo, which is what the general public is clamoring.
Thank you, Sec Mon. Kay
Yeah,
Kat,
gusto ko lang dagdagan pa yung nasabi ni Secmon na calibrated naman yung pagdating ng mga importation para yung mga haka-haka ng mga ibang players of the industry ay hindi that will not happen.
salamat po, Secretary. Galing naman kay Kat Talavera ng Philippine Star, sir. May I get the DA's and DTI's overall assessment of the imposed price ceiling during these 2 months?
Now,
Price cap.
ang nakita po natin ay hindi na kagaya mataas if you compare the prices nung January and the start of the price cap. So, napababa natin yon. Okay? So, that's already sa akin pananaw. Kasi as I've said from my earlier statement, price capping is just one of the measures. So, to stabilize prices talaga, you have to complete those other measures to be in place.
Secretary Mon, for your part.
Oo, the same din, yung the efforts done to improve the supply, especially here kung saan yung affected sa Metro Manila at yung mga katabing lugar. I think yung pagdagdag ng supply ang malaking natulong sa pagkupa ng mga presyo. At yan po ay isang paraan na as proposed na banggit kanina ni Secretary Gar, ay yun yung paraan na moving forward talagang pagtulungan natin para tuloy pang mag-stabilize in the vicinity maybe of where we are now. I think 320 to 350 hopefully would be the ideal price moving forward, and given maybe the expected supply, asahan po natin na dyan po iikot ang presyo at in a way medyo mas stable na, closer to I think where we are right now. At least hindi, tama si Secdar, hindi na kasing taas nung dati umaabot pa sa May 400. So, nag-stabilize na ng kaunti. At yan po, mapanatili natin dyan at kung pwede, lower pa ng konti. It's good for the people.
Yeah, to give a specific set of figures, dun sa mobilization po ng baboy galing sa surplus provinces, ay talagang malaking naitulong yan. As of today, a total of 264,000 hogs have been really brought from various provinces towards Metro Manila. And on top of these 264,000 hogs, mayroon carcass 1.7 million kilograms ang naidagdag. So, malaking naitulong po itong mobilization po na ito.
Maraming salamat po. Tanong pa rin ni Kat Talavera, ano naman po ang measures na ma-implement ng DA-DTI para ma-prevent ang pork and chicken prices from rising?
Ito na nga yung, if we talk about the totality of the measures, una, ito na yung setting up of the SRP ng imported pork. Number two, yung mobilization of hogs and or carcasses continue. Nagdadagdag pa tayo, mayroon kaakibat na transportation assistance. Number three, we will look forward to the approval of the MAB Plus. Also, number four, we look forward to the approval of the lowering of tariff. Kung lahat po ito with the calibrated arrivals of the import ay may sagawa po natin, that will really give us prices that will be very affordable and inflation will be tamed.
Secmon, for your part po.
So same answer lang tayo diyan, tulad ng nabanggit natin kanina. Maybe we can also add that dito sa proseso naman ng importation, nabanggit ni Secretary Dar yung una tong importation kasi dadaan ito maring sa retail, sa supermarkets and hypermarkets. Pero dahil may programa ang DA na magpakalat ng mga freezer para sa mga wet market, sa retailer, so at least masisiguradong magiging available din itong mga imported. At ang importante ho dito, sa explanation ho ng DA, magkakaroon ng mahigpit na monitoring din sa mga movement ng mga produkto na nandun sa freezer. Ibig sabihin, ito yung imported, para ma-account natin lahat ng mga pumasok na importation. At ito ay maibebenta sa tamang presyo as mentioned earlier, which is the suggested price cap or SRP dito sa imported, 270 and 350.
Salamat po. Tanong naman, sir, ni Mike Goyagoy ng DCXL RMN. Kumusta naman po yung volume ng chicken at pork meat sa ECQ dito sa atin? Sapat po ba, Mr. Secretary?
Now, base dun sa even previous ECQ and compare it to the ECQ week, sapat na sapat po yung supply. Ang isang development po, beyond pork, itong manok, yung whole dressed chicken, ay gawa itong ECQ, yung demand ay bumaba. Kasi maraming operations na nag-reduce. I mean, restaurants reducing their operations and the like. Ngayon, ang umiiral ngayon sa merkado, wet market, 1 kilo ng manok ay nasa 130 pesos. So, yung SRP din ng manok ay mag-end bukas, April 8, and we are not also issuing a new SRP for chicken. We are not going to issue one for chicken.
Secretary Mon, on your side po, yung other food products po, sapat po ba sa ECQ?
For non-agri products, the basic necessity and prime commodities, we are keeping the prices so far. No, wala tayong price increase. Fortunately, simula nung September 2019. So very stable po ang presyo dyan. But notably, meron mga requests, alam naman po ng media ito, na pinag-aaralan ngayon dahil may mga nag-request ng mga price increase given the increasing cost sa buong mundo, sa world market ng mga cost items. Tulad na rin itong mga pork inputs na ito at mga ibang cost items nila tulad ng MDM, lahat po ito mga nagtaasan din ng presyo. Kaya ho yan ang pinag-aaralan ngayon.
Salamat po. Mr. Secretary, tanong pa ni Mike, kumusta naman po ang supply ng vegetables po at presyo nito?
Yung supply ng vegetables, may report po na bumaba na, ang presyo ay significantly lower at an average of 50% much lower compared to February. So, again, it's showing na yung vegetables po ngayon ay seasonal. Yung nakaraan na mga Santa Cruz ng Baguio talagang umapekto nung January, February ng supply ng vegetables and fruits. But this time around, sobrang-sobra at mababa yung presyo po.
Salamat po. Secretary Mon, anything?
Ito, anyway, related ito on the overall na every time ho talagang, pati kami, pag natatanong on the agriculture prices, talaga hong supply and demand ho talaga ang problema, o hindi naman problema, ang nagdi-determine talaga dyan. Kaya ho, kung nagkasabay-sabay na nagkulang ang supply pati gulay nung umpisa ng taon at saka nung katapusan ng last year, dahil talaga sa, short supply at yung demand ay mas lumakas, kaya talagang nagtataasan ng presyo. Pero ngayon, nakikita ho natin na humuhupa ho yan talaga pagka maganda ang supply at moderate ang demand. So unlike po sa ating mga manufactured products, may konting stability dahil po hindi po ganyang kalikot ang galawan ng presyo. Over time po gumagalaw itong mga presyo, mga cost items, kaya ho sa mga natakdang SRP ay relatively stable than agriculture products. So yun po talaga yung reality that we have for dekada na po.
Let me mention siguro para sa kaalaman ng ating publiko, sa mga friends sa media, we monitored yung arrival ng pork importation from January up to the end of March. Ito yung inside MAB, mayroon nang dumating na 18.2 million kilos of pork. At ito bellies and pork cuts. Hindi na namin sinama yung para sa processors. So bellies and pork cuts within MAB allocation, may dumating na 18.2 million kilos of pork. Outside MAB, mayroon dumating na 19.7 million kilos outside MAB. So, if we total these two, it brings us to 38 million kilos of imported pork. Na ito January, February, March dumating na ito. So, ang Metro Manila is needing 15 million kilos of pork every month. So with the availability now of about 38 million kilos, this will really further soften itong inflation.
Salamat po, Secretary. Tanong naman po ni Jason Rubrico ng SMNI Sunshine TV. Bakit po pork vendors lang? Pwede po ba magrekomenda ang price ceiling naman sa mga suppliers o hog producers? Ano po ang taya nyo dito, Mr. Secretary?
Dati-dati, itong last 2 months, mayroon tayo yung guided level sa wholesale, 235. So dito pinag-aralan natin lahat at mayroon ng kita ng producers, mayroon na rin kita ng mga traders at saka retailers.
Mr. Secretary Mon,
Okay.
thank you. Tanong pa ni Jason Rubrico, hog producers and suppliers are having a pork holiday kaya matumal yung supply sa palengke. Ano pong pwedeng gawin ng DA to encourage them na magpatuloy pa rin sa pagbebenta?
Well, we have from day one all this time na, as we said, let's continue the business. But sana naman ay huwag natin taasan yung presyo. We will continue to, provide now that freezers during this time kasi karamihan ay hindi nasusunod yung guidelines natin. Sa mga imported pork ay walang masyadong chillers or freezers sa wet markets. Sa supermarkets, hypermarkets, they are properly handled. Now, we will continue to really look at every opportunity na matulungan lahat ng stakeholders doon. Yung repopulation na lang, malaki na't umpisa yan. At palagi natin sinasabi na number 1 priority rin natin yan para magkaroon natin tayo ng continuous supply locally.
Okay, thank you. Secmon, on your part, sa value chain po.
Yeah. On the same, I support nga yung statement ni Secdar. Napaka-importante yung support ng DA sa stakeholders, sa mga producers. Yung repopulation program ninyo, lahat ng tulong para ma-encourage yung producers. I think that will help answer yung pag-address dito sa pork holiday para maengganyo rin yung producer to continue the supply as they see the DA supporting them. I guess yun yung pinaka-importante dito.
Salamat po.
Now,
The second part pala is yung announcement kanina na hindi naman i-extend na yung price cap. So ibig sabihin, mas kampante rin ng mga producer na magdala ng mga produkto nila dito sa kung saan kailangan. Thank you.
Secretary.
Yeah, gusto ko rin idagdag, ano pa yung ginagawa po natin na measures para ma-encourage na itong mga local hog raisers natin to do repopulate. Na kahapon ay we already mentioned to the public na mayroon na tayong insurance cover doon sa mga nagbababoy. Backyard hog raisers are properly covered, walang premium. They can now get as high as 10,000 pag may naapektuhan ng African swine fever. So from a low of 5,000 dati, ay magiging 10,000 na yung indemnification via the insurance system, Philippine Crop Insurance Corporation. Hindi na galing doon sa Quick Response Fund ng Department of Agriculture. So, for the commercial hog raisers, ay mayroon parte na subsidiya na ibibigay ng DA doon sa premium for commercial hog raisers. We will pay 22% of the premium. So this is incentivizing again the engagement of the commercial hog raisers to come back fully and everything possible to control now ASF ay ginagawa po natin. Mayroon ng, for example, yung dalawang products na nasabi ko na earlier, yung mayroon dalawang inventors na Pilipino na pag pinower spray mo with this chemical na mayroon antiviral compounds in that formulation ay at the early stage ng ASF ay mamamatay, mawawala yung ASF. So the chances to recover much better will now be here, much higher.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mula naman po kay Ray Pilayo ng UNTB, kung itutuloy po ng DA yung subsidy sa transport sa hogs, tuloy pa rin po ba, Mr. Secretary? Pakiulit na.
Ang sinabi ko kanina na tuloy-tuloy ito, hanggat lahat itong measures na sinasabi po natin ay in place, yung MAB Plus at saka yung lowering of tariff. From then, ihihinto na natin.
Okay. Dagdag tanong niya pa, may nakasuhan na po ba sa price manipulation sa pork? O paano makakasiguro na susundin itong SRP kumpara sa price ceiling?
Nasagot na.
Nasagot na. Nasagot na ito, Ray, kanina. Kay Melissa Lopez ng CNN Philippines, ano po ang plano to stabilize or bring down pork prices after the price cap is lifted? Yun na po, nabanggit na rin po kanina. Can you call it a success yung 60-day period price?
Nasagot na po yun.
Nasagot na rin
We
po,
call it a
Melissa.
success in many ways.
Okay. Kay Christine Cordes ng Philippine News Agency, is the current pork import enough to level the supply of high demand areas, Mr. Secretary?
Itong current system na 54,000 MAB at everything is outside MAB, ay hindi po yan kompleto as a measure. That's why nagpapadagdag tayo ng MAB at nagpapababa tayo ng taripa.
Okay, thank you. On your part, Secmon, anything you wish to add, Nan?
Wala naman.
Ito po sa biosecurity measures naman, Mr. Secretary, how far are we going to do initiation para naman ma-mitigate ang spread ng ASF? Ito pong biosecurity.
Yeah, yung sa mayroon tayong proyekto at umuusad na after 1 year na hindi nakausad. Yung Agricultural Comprehensive Evaluation Area, ASEA, na itatayo natin sa every major port. 5 ports yan. Ang umpisa po sa MICP. Okay, so 500 million po ang investment natin para kumpleto yung area. Mayroon tayong cold storage doon, warehouses, at area to open up all what is coming in as imports sa agriculture.
Thank you. Kay Eric de la Cruz ng Reuters. Eric, yung ibang tanong mo ay nasagot na. Siguro ang, ito kagaya, how much pork imports have come in? Nasagot na po yan. Ito pa, how soon can we ramp up pork imports? How soon? Ang tanong. Gaano ka?
Hindi ko naintindihan yung tanong.
Sir, gaano kabilis daw ang pagpasok ng mga imports? May time frame ba?
Again, importation is going on
Okay.
under the present or current system. Laman lang, yung MAB in quota ay nakalimit sa 54 million kilos. Okay? Tapos yung outside quota naman ay walang limit pero mataas ang taripa, 40%, while the in quota is 30%.
Okay, thank you. Yung kay Rebino Chabe ng Business World, finally, Secmon, ito na rin lang, ay nasagot na karamihan tungkol sa proposal ng tariff, development sa anti-barrel agents, Mr. Secretary, para sa ASF, at hog deliveries po, tuloy-tuloy pa rin. So again, maraming salamat sa mga kasama natin sa media. And for your part, Secmon, parting, concluding words po, message for our media friends.
Yes, salamat po sa pagkakataon na magpagpaliwanag tayo dito sa ongoing situation natin sa mga pork prices, pati na rin chicken prices. So we support yung mga ginagawa ng Department of Agriculture led by Secretary, especially his focus on really trying to improve the repopulation, improve the supply from local hog raisers, local industry. Kaya naman po, as much as possible, we want to really promote by local, promoting, increasing local production capacities. That's really primary. Ang importation po is really last resort or second sa atin, resort lang talaga yan. Pagka talaga nagkakaroon ng kakulangan, para naman maprotektahan din naman yung presyo at yung mga consumers. So really, it's a balance na ginagawa ho natin. And again, nandito kami to support DA sa price monitoring at yung role natin na makapag-report kung meron mga violation at i-report natin sa DA. So, salamat po.
Maraming salamat po, Secretary Mon Lopez and Yusek Ruth Castelo. Maraming salamat po sa inyong dalawa at the entire DA-DTI team. Secretary...
Thank you. Salamat po.
Secretary Dar.
Yeah, again, we must harness the power of the whole of nation approach to solving the food prices challenge that we have today. Wala tayong problema na hindi maresolusyonan kung lahat po ng mga stakeholders ay tulong-tulong, sama-sama dito po sa problema natin. Mayroon tayong kakulangan ng pork dito sa bansa, gawa ng African swine fever. At lahat po, every aspect, every measure, or every program is now put in place para lang sa ganun ay makarecover ang local hog industry. Ito po palagi yung sinasabi natin na priority po ang repopulation program ng hog industry sa Pilipinas. Itong mga iba't ibang measures ay pangsamantala na measures. They have timeline to be implemented. Itong MAB Plus at saka lowering of tariff ay for 1 year. And hoping na after 1 year, with the repopulation giving us the low-lying fruits, we can sustain that. And with the fight against ASF much elevated this time around, ay talagang everyone will benefit from all the proper measures properly implemented really to, again, rebuild the hog industry. So marami pong salamat.
Maraming po salamat, Secretary Dar.
Salamat po, Secmon, Yusek Ruth.
Okay. Maraming salamat po sa ating mga kasama sa media. On behalf of the Department of Agriculture, Secretary William Dar, Secretary Ramon Lopez, Yusek Ruth, and the team here in DA. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you.
Salamat po.